You do not need a big knife. Despite what most people will tell you, a small knife is actually probably better suited for most of the everyday cutting tasks you're gonna come across. Fight me. Also, very special timing on this, just before Blade Show, Hawk Knives filed a lawsuit against Microtech, claiming that they stole the OTF mechanism that Hawk has been refining for years, the deadlock. The timing is not subtle at all, and that should make for a very interesting weekend in Atlanta, which is Blade Show. This weekend, we are at Blade Show in Atlanta. If you're there, come say hi. Okay, that and more. This is Deep Cuts. I'm Taylor Martin. With that said, let's do the damn thing. All right, let's just cut to the chase. Pun not intended. Small knives. This actually came to me because I've had a lot of comments on some of the fixed blade videos that I've done about why am I talking about all these baby knives, but also this knife right here. This came to us last month. This is the Lulu from NAFS that was announced last week. It's on Kickstarter right now, and I'll be the first to admit, I wasn't a huge fan of this immediately. I've seen a couple of prototypes over the last several months from Ben, and 3D prints are always kind of like, I'm not so sure about that. I got it in hand and I was like, it's better than I expected with the 3D prints, but I gave it a chance, right? I've been so focused on the Red Hawk lately that I was not very interested in this thing just because focus, right? But Red Hawk's out and I decided to just kind of mix it up and threw this in the pocket, and I'm reminded how good small fixed blades really are. So the story on this knife is that Ben was in Colombia with our good friend Joe Flowers with the Matisse tribe, and he was out there testing the Lulu, and he was using it and he kept having to ask people for their smaller knives so he could drill and do some much more fine tasks with a smaller, more finite precision tool. And that's the thing, is a large knife is really cool. I like big knives. One of my favorite knives of all time is the LT5, the Schwartz Knives LT5. It's a huge fixed blade, and I also really like the Umnimzon. Both of those are big honking blades. But a lot of the time I find myself reaching for a knife like this. This is the Aros from Onso, and it's small and it's really good. In fact, we have another knife that came out recently, or is coming out this weekend actually, the RMX from one of our sponsors. There's two sizes. My favorite size is the small one. And a knife that I've been carrying a lot lately is this. This is the Overlook from Bigidesign. It's not a big knife at all. In fact, it's smaller, I think, than a small Sabenza. And look at that, it's smaller than a small Sabenza, which a lot of people consider a little too small for their taste. So the Overlook is not a big knife at all, and I really like it. And since we're going down this path, here's a knife that I've had on the chopping block 100 times, and I just cannot part with it. It's just so cool. This is the Micro Transient from HMC, and it's just a scaled down version of the Transient. I like this knife a lot, and I just cannot part with it because it's really nice. But you know, at the end of the day, this knife right here, which is probably like the quintessential tiny knife, the McBee from McNeese and Spyderco, is all you really need in a day. Like, you can do most of what you're gonna need a knife for in any given day with this. And now that's not talking for somebody who's like a blue collar worker and needs their knife a lot, but for opening boxes, even some meal prep, some tiny meal prep, you can do with this knife. One of the first things that made me think about this discussion was some of the feedback I got on my design, the Klingman. A lot of people I've seen said it's smaller than I expected, it's too small for me. What exactly is this knife too small for? Because it's a full 4-finger grip for a guy like me who has a meaty paw. I can get 4 fingers on this full grip, and it's got a blade. Our grandfathers carried knives like this right here, and they did far more than most of us do in any given day or week or month or their life, right? I know my grandpa and my great-grandpa worked way harder than me, and guess what? They carried knives more dainty than this. So my point that I'm getting at is that you don't need a big knife. This knife right here could do pretty much everything that I've needed a knife for in the last several months. And in fact, thinking back, there's only a couple of things I've done, maybe in the last 6 months, that this wouldn't do. Batoning, right? Say what you will about batoning with a knife. You're not gonna baton with this, but like, yeah, that's a task you can't do with a smaller knife. Even food prep, right? You can cut a steak, you could carve, you could even trim a brisket with a knife this small. It's not gonna be great, it's not the best tool for the job, but you can definitely do it. Native Americans, they used rocks, small little rocks, and that was their knife. A rock that they flint knapped down into a sharp edge, and they did everything with this little rock. And in fact, they would whittle these rocks down smaller and smaller and smaller until they couldn't use them anymore. And then they would find another use for that. But small knives have been a thing for a very long time. This need for a giant knife is really, I would say, only pretty recent. But one of the tasks that comes to mind for me is I had a knife probably about the size of a small Sabenza, and I was working on my lawnmower and I could not get the belt off. It was jammed, and the only way I could get that belt off, it like stretched tight, and even trying to remove all the tension from it, it was just wound up. So I had to cut the belt off, and I was trying my best, and I just didn't have enough leverage to get that belt, the knife through the belt. So I had to go get a bigger fixed blade, like probably an LT5 or something like that, just to get enough leverage to be able to cut through that belt. But that's a really specific, rare task, right? I'm not cutting lawnmower belts all the time. I'm just saying, it's okay to like big knives. I like big knives. But the comments about why are these knives so small? You can't do anything with these knives. These things are dainty. They're not real knives. I think that's kind of stupid. I know that currently, right now, I am trending towards smaller knives because it's getting hot outside and I'm gonna be wearing shorts a lot more. Smaller knives, that's why I threw this in the pocket. This fits in my pocket way better than the Red Hawk if I'm wearing shorts. So tell me in the comments, do you really need a big knife or do you just prefer it? Because sometimes I like to carry a big knife. Since we're not doing a community hot take this week, I did want to kind of clap back at a recent comment, or I don't have any specific comment, there's a few of them, where people were like, why are you bothering replying to these stupid comments? And frankly, I feel like we should make people ashamed again. If you comment something really stupid, I feel like you should get called out for it. No, I'm kidding. The whole point in me doing this community show, which currently is still Deep Cuts, but may have a new name in the future, the whole point is to just get a discussion going, have fun, and not take it so seriously. A lot of these people who've commented like, why are you even bothering applying people, are like taking it way too seriously. All the discussions we've had so far have been great, and if you look in the comments, there are some awesome discussions and some really good feedback from you guys, and that is what I feel like this channel has been missing for a long time. I didn't miss going through 100 different carries every week. I missed the interaction and the discussion and being able to approach topics that may be a little polarizing or controversial or just fun to talk about. So that's why I'm bothering replying to comments that I don't necessarily agree with, because I like this discussion and I have missed it. So thank you guys for everybody who has commented and participated in these. I have really, truly enjoyed doing this show. I know I've said that a few times now, but I do. I look forward to making this every week now, and I have you guys to thank. So the discussions will continue. The stupid comments, I'm sure they're going to continue coming in, and we will clap back at them. But also, if you've got questions, if you have a piece of gear that you're looking for and you can't find it, put it in a comment. We might make a video about that and answer your question. So the next thing on the docket is the community carry of the week, and this one comes from San Juan EDC. It's RJL San Juan EDC over on Instagram. I love the windshield sticker on the bike here. It says Pinoy EDC Hub. In this photo, we have a Meritac TI field watch on the wrist, and there's also a titanium flashlight there. That is the Workos TS10. He has a Leatherman Charge TTI, as well as a Vero Fulcrum Mini, a big Idea Design Mini dual side click, and then to the far right, this, I don't even really know what this thing is, but it looks like an interchangeable blade knife. It's the Olatan TI 024. And that, I think, is why I ultimately chose this, because I didn't know what that was, and it didn't occur to me until I was reading this that it's a full TI carry. But I want to Google this thing real quick. Olatan TI, that is an interchangeable blade knife. It looks like a more budget-friendly version of the Tyrant Ultra, which is not too terribly expensive for what it is, but it's a really cool version of a utility blade. You can actually have a utility blade knife, like a flipper, like the regular Tyrant, but you can also take that out and put in full-on blades. He calls that the hot swap blade, and there are a bunch of different attachments for it. So anyway, check that out if you haven't seen it. We're gonna call you RJ. When we asked, tell us about this carry, all he said was the watch. So I'm guessing he misclicked before he finished typing, maybe. But he did say that for completing his carry, he was looking for a lighter. Well, if you're looking for a titanium lighter, you're gonna be spending quite a bit of money. A titanium Zippo, last I checked, was going for about $1,000 on eBay, and they are going to break. They will always break, and you'll have to send it in for warranty. It's not worth buying a titanium Zippo, even if you feel like spending the $1,000 on it. I do know that there are a couple of companies making titanium Zippo cases but they're like AliExpress. I don't know exactly what that company is. And I think Zorro, durable titanium alloy square box lighter, Zorro lighters. So if you want something to complete that titanium carry, check out Zorro. I don't have any experience with them, so I can't tell you how good or bad they are. But if you're looking for a full TI carry, that's probably your only option. If you want something like cooler than titanium, you could like hold out for one of these guys. Maybe, but that also might be forever. Who knows when we'll actually launch. But now has come the time to thank our channel sponsors. And first up, we have worksharp. And like I've said earlier in this video, they don't just do sharpeners now, they also have a knife. This is the RMX Compact, and they have a full size. Those are launching this weekend at Blade Show in Atlanta, and you'll also be able to buy them online, so go check out worksharp. We also want to thank Big Idea Design. I also just talked about their new knife. This is the Overlook. Their fresh new knife that I really like and has been a staple in my carry. These are out now, available on their website, but also you could probably check out some stuff that they have at Blade Show. They will be there, and I know that they have a couple things that they don't have on their website at the show. So if you're at Blade Show, swing by Big Idea Design. If you are at home, go on their website, buy something and use the coupon code CARRYON for 10% off, and you will help support what we're doing here. And finally, Whatnot. They will also be at Blade Show doing some funky stuff with Smoky Mountain Knife Works. So if you're at the show, swing by Smoky Mountain and you can probably do something live with them on Whatnot. Maybe, I don't know exactly what they're doing. If not, you can tune in to Smoky Mountain Knife Works on Whatnot while they're live at the show, and you can kind of experience it from home, which will be kind of cool for you guys. But we are also on Whatnot. We do live streams regularly. There's a QR code right here or a link in the description. If you use that, you'll get $15 off your first purchase on Whatnot. Okay, thank you guys for being channel sponsors. Back to the video. Next up, let's talk about On My Radar. These are the things that are happening right now that I find interesting. And first up, this is the talk of the knife world right now. Gavin Hawk of Hawk Knives has filed a lawsuit against Microtech, claiming that they have stolen his deadlock design. This is his design that he's refined for a long time, and this for Microtech would be known as their zero blade play mechanism that they launched, I guess earlier this year or late last year. I believe it was earlier this year. And I can't remember who it was. I heard somebody reference this, but there is a video here on YouTube. We'll try to find it and link it, where somebody took apart a deadlock and a zero blade play Microtech and compared the two, and it's pretty interesting. And I'm pretty sure Gavin has these things patented, so I'm sure this is not gonna play out too well in Microtech's favor, but I have not made myself an expert on this whole thing. I just think it's very interesting, and there is stuff to look into. There is a video here on YouTube from Gavin talking about the situation. But of course, you want to hear both sides of it. I just don't know that Microtech has much to stand on here. So yeah, pretty interesting. If you guys know more about it, talk about it in the comments down below. I'd love to learn more. I actually haven't had a chance to watch Gavin's video yet, but I will be doing that later today. So very interesting, and will be interesting to be at Blade Show with these two companies that are typically positioned pretty close to one another, now in the midst of a legal battle. I don't know, we'll see how it plays out. Also on my radar is this. I've got it on the wrist today. This is the RZE UTD 8000. We were talking about them last week. They are restocked as of the time of this recording. So it's Tuesday right now. By the time this comes out, they may still be in stock, but I'm not 100% sure. All three colors are in stock, so that means the limited edition one is not, but they are also not available on bracelet right now. The only ones that we'll be shipping right now are with this elastic Velcro strap, and they do come with this really cool box. It's a Toyo toolbox in this bright yellow, this RZE yellow. This is what the watch ships in, but you can then take this foam out and have a really cool box that you can store some cool stuff in. I think it's a really cool little touch. Anyway, the UTD is available now, and I really like it. I've been wearing it for a day. I like the chime, the little beep on the turn of the hour. That's my favorite thing right now. Just a little beep right at the end of the hour. Kind of throws me back to my dad's old Casio days. And speaking of things that are hopefully still in stock by the time you see this, we have this. This is a collaboration between Wesson Knives and one of my favorite creators here on YouTube, Chris Ramsey. If you've seen his puzzle solving videos, you know exactly who I'm talking about. He's probably actually also the inspiration for my 3-angle setup, because his was just so nice, and he's perfected it, and it inspired me to make my setup a little nicer. So thanks for that, Chris. But also thank you to Chris and Wesson for sending this out. We're gonna open it up and see what we can see. I have no idea what to expect. So we're gonna open this up. And this says, Taylor, we hope you enjoy the experience that is the Wesson and First Magic Puzzle Box and Microblade. We've worked on this for 2 years and now finally launched June 6th. You're one of the first to hold this in your hands. Good luck, Ethan and the Wesson team. All right, so let's just, ooh, it's heavy. Oh, dude, you gotta feel that. That's heavy. That has to be solid brass.
Oh, shit.
That's gotta be solid brass. So we're gonna do our best Chris Ramsey here and try to solve this puzzle live. Puzzle box solution, do not open unless needed. Oh, dude, it's been a long time since I've done a puzzle, like a long time. I'm a little nervous about trying to do this live. Okay. So there's this little piece here.
Could you imagine you can't get into it? You can't get your knife.
Oh, dude, I've watched too many Chris Ramsey videos.
Dude, yeah.
I feel like Chris Ramsey now. And then you've got this. Oh.
He locked it.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, red Loctite on it. Did I already solve it? Thought that would be it. Okay, it's like a pin right here I can see. I'm not hearing it now. Interesting. I am no Chris Ramsey, I can tell you that. Just trying to see inside. Oh, you know what? There's a, so.
Yeah.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Wow. That should not have been as hard as it was. Now that I see it, I'm like, wow, I'm an idiot. Yeah.
Overthinker.
What an idiot. That's very cool. And then you have a First Magic Microblade inside. Very, very cool. Now I want more puzzles.
Yeah.
That's all this did for me, is I want puzzles now. If you want to see the solution, it's in this, but also you could buy one of these and try and solve it yourself. I'm not Chris Ramsey, right? People aren't looking for me to solve these. I think this is just really cool. If you enjoy his work and you also like knives, go check this out, because this was cool. Now I just want more puzzles. The question, now we have to do the Chris Ramsey thing, and we have to get it back together. This gets screwed back in. And then this pops back in there. Back together. That was a lot of fun. Go check out the Wesson First Magic Chris Ramsey collaboration. All right, it feels like we should probably do a quick 60-second what's in my pockets. So here we go. First up, we have the new tactile rock wall flipper. This is the larger one, and now they have a configurator on their website. You can configure your own rock wall flipper. So I've been carrying this a little bit. I really like what they've done with it. I also still have the little Lulu in my pocket as well. So I put a little Ulti clip or a DC clip on that. Same as always, we have the SOG Power Pint and the Lumentop Frog. I also still have the same wallet, which is the Carry Commission Rustic Heirloom Hitchhiker in Honeycomb, and the same pin. Still have the big bigidesign Pocket Pro in bronze. We also talked about this earlier. I have the UTD 8000 on my wrist from RZE in black. Really enjoying this watch. But the one thing that is different is this right here. This is the Gaslight Industries lighter that I've been experimenting with finishes and stuff on. These are not out yet, but it is my company. We'll be launching soon, hopefully. Just follow Gaslight Industries over on Instagram. It'll be up here as well. And you can stay updated on when this is gonna launch. I cannot wait for you guys to be able to buy one of these, but that is what's in my pockets. Okay, next up we have a giveaway winner. So we had this up for grabs. This is the Bugout 535-09, and I said the instructions would be in the EDC Weekly email, and those instructions were use the hashtag #NotEDCWeekly and suggest a new name for this community show. There were a lot of entries, some of them with pretty good recommendations. We did not decide to choose any of those as the actual name, so thank you for the recommendations. But I feel like we haven't quite nailed it down yet. We're working on it, we're close. I said that if nobody suggested a name that we decide to use, that I would randomly select a commenter. That random commenter is Michael Mullane 8141, and he suggested what's in our pocket. So we're not gonna use that name, but thank you very much for the suggestion. And you now have your very own 535-09. We will be in touch. Our next knife that we're giving away is the We Knife Tyro by Snex. If you want to know how to enter this, you should already be signed up for the EDC Weekly. I've explained this a few weeks now, for over a month, actually. The instructions are in your inbox. You have to be signed up for the EDC Weekly to get those instructions, so go check your inbox. If it's not in your inbox, you've missed the boat. You'll have to sign up for the newsletter so you can get in on future giveaways, but those instructions are already emailed to you right now, so go check out your inbox and follow those instructions to win a We Knives Tyro. All right, thank you, We Knives, for sending this along. That's it for Deep Cuts this week. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a comment down below if you'd like us to talk about some sort of topic, or if you've got a question, something you won't solve, the piece of gear you can't find, leave it down below and maybe we'll make a video about it. And don't forget to submit your carry. Go to edcw.co, or you can tag us on Instagram at edc.weekly. That's it. I'll see you guys in the next video. And until then, carry on. And also, if you see us at Blade Show, come say hey. All right, that's it.